46 days into Israel-Hamas war, a potential truce has given hopes for an end to the hostilities that has so far claimed the lives of over 13,000 Palestinians. There are also high hopes that the hostages taken since the 7th of October could be freed, which includes a Nepali national. However, there are rooms for skepticism as an official comment from Israel is still awaited. Good evening, I'm Sarah Sapsanamma. Let's begin with the headlines of the hour. Individuals arrested from Dolaka over allegation of gold smuggling found involved in illegal transaction of cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies worth over $2 billion transacted in 1 year. Prime Minister Dahal expresses commitment to put forth Nepal's climate change issues at COP28 in a straightforward manner. Access to climate funds, one of Nepal's agendas. Hamas leader says the group is close to reaching a truce agreement with Israel, raising hopes of a pause in hostilities in Gaza that could see hostages freed. And Nepal's men's national football team playing against Yemen under FIFA World Cup Asia qualifiers. The match scheduled to kick off at 7 p.m. at Dashrath Stadium. 6 names have been recommended for the vacant positions of justices at the Supreme Court. The meeting of the Judicial Council held earlier today has decided to recommend Saranga Subedi, Abdul Aziz Musalman, Mahesh Sharma Podel, Tek Prasad Dhungana, Sunil Pokhrel and Balkrishna Dhakal for the vacant posts at the Apex Court. 4 names among those recommended are judges at the High Courts, while Balkrishna Dhakal and Sunil Pokhrel are legal practitioners. Pokhrel, who has close ties with Nepali Congress, is a former Secretary General at the Nepal Bar Association, while Dhakal served as Secretary for the Supreme Court Bar Association. There are 7 vacant positions of justices at the Apex Court. The nominees for Supreme Court justices will be appointed by the President following approval from the Parliamentary Hearing Committee. It has been revealed that the individuals arrested from Dolaka over allegation of gold smuggling have also been involved in illegal transaction of cryptocurrencies. Based on an investigation carried out by the District Police Dolaka and the Central Investigation Bureau of Nepal Police (CIB), the arrested individuals had reportedly carried out cryptocurrency transactions worth $2,914,832,000 in the past 1 year. The police released their investigation report today from Dolaka's Charikot. They say the transaction amount might go up further, saying that the report from Digital Forensic Lab of main accused Mahima Maji is yet to arrive. The report also states that 33 kilograms of gold had been smuggled into Nepal through China's Rongjiang customs point and Dolaka's Lama Bagar in the past 10 months. 27 individuals, including 2 foreigners, have been involved in the smuggling allegedly. The police have arrested the main accused, Agar Lama, who is a Chinese national, and 15 others in connection with the gold smuggling. 12 others are still on the run. The police say an international network of organized criminals had been carrying out the gold smuggling. The police took 2 months to conclude their investigation, which also highlighted that $760,000 had been exchanged through various money exchange in the capital. The police has also learned that the same group had been active in smuggling of Yarsa Gumba and mask pouch through Dolaka. A case has been filed at the Dolaka District Court against the alleged individuals under Customs Act for Organized Crime, Nepal Rashtra Bank Act, the Act related to children and the National Penal Code. Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal has said he will put forth Nepal's climate change issues at the nearing COP28 in UAE in a straightforward manner. The event is to kick off in November 30, later this month, and continue till the 12th of December. Speaking at the National Climate Conference today, organized by the Ministry of Forest and Environment ahead of COP28, the Premier directed government officials to ensure the documents to be presented at the conference is strong.
विश्व तापमान वृद्धिलाई सीमित गर्न विश्वका धनी र विकसित राष्ट्रहरूलाई आफ्नो प्रतिबद्धताको जिम्मेवारी पालनका लागि नेपालले सशक्त पैरवी गर्नेछ। अनुकूलनका लागि दोब्बर घोषणा गरिएको वित्तको प्रवाह अनुदान स्वरूप प्रदान गर्ने सहमतिको शीघ्र र पूर्ण कार्यान्वयनमा नेपालले गम्भीरतापूर्वक आफ्नो दाबी पेश गर्नेछ।
Premier Dahal added that Nepal would raise its voice to highlight on the role that developed nations and economies had in limiting the warming of the planet. He also said discussions will be held with concerned units regarding the procedural hassles that Nepal has been facing in accessing the climate funds, the imbalance in distribution of the funds and other hassles. Minister for Finance Prakash Charan Mahat added that the Nepal's delegation would remind major polluters to reduce their carbon emission and to fulfill their climate fund pledges.
Carbon emission को प्रभाव नेपालले बेहोरिराखेको छ त्यो हामीले जिरो गर्दैमा त्यो प्रभावबाट हामी मुक्त हुन्छौं नेपाल मुक्त हुन्छ हुँदैन त्यसको लागि अन्य देशहरू जसले धेरै ठूलो इमिसन जनरेट गरिरहेछन् उनीहरूले त्यो पूरा गर्नुपर्छ.
The Ministry of Forest and Environment has said it is in the final phase of completing the national status paper that will be presented at the COP28 conference. Victims of the conflict era and their families are still waiting for justice despite the lapse of 17 years since the Comprehensive Peace Accord was signed. This is due to lack of transitional justice laws that are victim-centric and the lack of commissions to implement those laws. Victims and their families had drawn all stakeholders' attention to proceed ahead with the relevant laws at the earliest that are still in consideration at the Parliament's Law and Human Rights Committee. They say they have been further victimized and that the lack of momentum had left the transitional justice process incomplete. Experts say the delay has also dented Nepal's image among the international community. The hearing on the 14 writs filed against the government decision to ban TikTok has begun from today. The hearing is being looked over by a single bench of Justice Binod Sharma. The government had banned the video sharing platform on the 13th of this month, saying that the company had failed to remove contents that violated social harmony and also failed to provide the Nepal government details of its users. The writ applicants include senior advocate Dinesh Tripathi, advocates Anantaraj Luitel, Sunil Ranjan Singh, Bhadra Prasad Nepal, Trilok Bahadur Chand, Prem Raj Silwal, Yagya Mani Nyopane and Yuvaraj Podal, among others. In their separate writ applications, the Office of the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers, Ministry of Communication and Information Technology, Nepal Telecom and Nepal Telecommunications Authority have been made defendants. 10 writ applications were filed last Friday and 4 yesterday. A preliminary hearing was scheduled for yesterday, however, was kept on waiting list. Hearing also took place today at the High Court Patan after 4 months in the writs filed against the Kathmandu District Court's decision to send those arrested in connection with the fake Bhutanese refugee scam to detention. A joint bench of Justice duo Janak Pandey and Prakash Kharel is hearing the writ. Former Deputy Prime Minister Tobbadur Rai Majhi, former Home Minister Balkrishna Khand, suspended Secretary Teknarayan Pandey, among others, had filed the writ, claiming that the Kathmandu District Court's decision to send them in detention as further investigation takes place was faulty and demanded for the scrapping of the decision. The other writ applicants include Sanu Bhandari, Angtawa Sherpa, Indrajit Rai, Haribhakta Maharjan, Lakshmi Maharjan, Sandesh Sarma, Samsher Mia, Govinda Chaudhary, Ashish Burathoki, Sandeep Rai Majhi, Teknath Rijal, Kesha Prasad Dulal, Tanka Kumar Gurung, Sagar Rai and Ram Sharan Kesi. Cases against them are under consideration at the Kathmandu District Court. Around 65 have presented their arguments on behalf of them at the High Court. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. The question is, what do you term the shortage of essential resources at the government hospitals? Your options are A. Administrative lapses, B. Commission game, and C. Procedural delay. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Let's move on to international update. The leader of Hamas says the group is close to reaching a truce agreement with Israel, raising hopes of a pause in hostilities in Gaza that could see hostages freed. Israel has not made comments regarding the matter. Earlier, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said his country would not stop fighting until hostages are brought home. A deal could see Hamas returning hostages in exchange for Israel's release of jailed Palestinians. U.S. President Joe Biden yesterday said he believed a deal was close. The White House spoke of temporary pauses in fighting to allow hostages safely out. The International Committee of the Red Cross, which helped facilitate previous deals, has been meeting Hamas leaders in Qatar, raising further hopes. Meanwhile, fighting continues to rage in Gaza, with the Israeli military saying it has surrounded the city of Jabalia in the north. Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry has said 13,300 people, including more than 5,000 children, have been killed in Israel's campaign. Israel began attacking Hamas-run Gaza after Hamas fighters crossed the border on 7th of October, killing 1,200 people and taking more than 200 others hostage. Relatives of some of the 240 people held by Hamas in Gaza have urged far-right Israeli lawmakers not to pursue proposed capital punishment for captured Palestinian militants, saying that even talk of doing so might endanger the hostages. Far-right National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir has called for the death penalty, which is dormant on Israel's law books. Some of the relatives of the people held captive by Hamas in Gaza worry the publicity around the capital punishment debate could invite reprisals, even as hopes of a deal to free some of them is growing. The hostages have already been threatened with execution by Hamas and are at risk of being hurt or killed in the military offensive launched by Israel in response to the October 7 attack. A number of suspected gunmen were detained after members of the armed Islamist faction breached the Gaza Strip border on the 7th of October and went on the rampage, killing over 1,200 people and kidnapping others. Israel's Justice Ministry said on November 7 that a task force was discussing how to try the Palestinians who had been detained and secure punishments befitting the severity of the horrors committed for those convicted. The only court-ordered execution in Israel was of convicted Nazi war criminal Adolf Eichmann in 1962. Trucks transporting building blocks for a Jordanian field hospital arrived in Gaza's Khan Yunis today, as many hospitals across the Gaza Strip have largely ceased operations. Volunteers were seen setting up the facility, which is said to include 2 hospitals, one for trauma injuries and another to treat premature babies, with 40 incubators. The director of the operations department at the Palestinian Ministry of Health, Hani Hamada, has said the field hospital was extremely important for the citizens, as hospitals and the healthcare system in Gaza have become non-operational. Medical staff are exhausted and there is an abundance of critical surgical conditions. Gaza's Hamas-run government says at least 13,300 Palestinians have been confirmed killed, including at least 5,600 children, by Israeli bombardment that has turned much of Gaza, especially its northern half, into wasteland. Around 2/3 of Gaza's 2.3 million people have been made homeless, with thousands a day still trekking south on foot with belongings and children in their arms. The central and southern parts of the enclave, where Israel has told them to go, have also regularly come under attack. Palestinian patients were evacuated late yesterday from Gaza's Indonesian hospital to Al Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis. Gaza's health ministry has said that at least 12 Palestinians were killed and dozens wounded by firing into an Indonesian-built hospital encircled by Israeli tanks. Israel says it shot back at fighters who opened fire from inside it. Health officials said 700 patients along with staff were under Israeli fire and have denied any fighters were present. The health ministry released a video earlier today showing buses arriving at Al Nasser Hospital and patients being moved into the crowded emergency room. WHO Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus has said he was appalled by the attack that he too said had killed 12 people, including patients, citing unspecified reports. The Israeli Defense Forces have said troops had fired back at fighters in the hospital while taking numerous measures to minimize harm to non-combatants. Like all other health facilities in the northern half of the Gaza, the Indonesian hospital has largely ceased operations but is still sheltering patients, staff and displaced residents. 3 people have been killed and 8 injured in overnight Russian missile attacks and shelling in Ukraine's eastern Donetsk and Kharkiv regions. Missiles hit a hospital in the Donetsk town of Selidov and a coal mine, Interior Minister Ihor Klimenko said on the Telegram messaging service. The Ukrainian prosecutor's office later said one person was killed in the attack, presumably with S-300 missiles. Klimenko said one worker was killed in the attack on the coal mine. Invading Russian forces have occupied much of Donetsk, and Russia has said it intends to take over the whole region. In Kharkiv, one person was killed in Russian shelling, the region's governor, Oli Syniehubov, has said. Family members of workers trapped in a tunnel in India have said they were relieved after rescuers made progress and managed to establish video contact. Rescuers are said to resume drilling horizontally through a 60-meter pile of debris to push through a pipe large enough for the trapped men to crawl out. A tunneling expert present at the site said work was being done to create safe areas within the tunnel. Sunita, who only provided her first name, said the trapped men were okay after she managed to speak to her brother-in-law, Birendra Kisku, who is among the group. The men have been stuck in the 4.5-kilometer tunnel in Uttarakhand state since it caved in early on November 12. Authorities have not said what caused the cave-in, but the region is prone to landslides, earthquakes and floods. Drone footage shot earlier today showed the smog-clad Yamuna River in Delhi polluted with toxic foam floating over its surface. The sight of the foam-covered Yamuna River comes amid the Indian capital's annual battle on polluted skies this month. Delhi's air pollution gets worse in winter when wind speeds drop and cooling air traps pollutants spewed by vehicles, industry and farmers burning agricultural waste in surrounding states to prepare for new planting. The foam on the Yamuna comes from sludge and untreated waste, said a former advisor to Delhi government, adding that the city's water board was spraying a food-grade chemical to control it. New Delhi alone produces 3.6 billion litres of sewage every day, but due to poor management, less than half of it is effectively treated. The remaining untreated waste is dumped into the Yamuna River. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.